Oh boy. Hey, what's up everybody? Today I'll be showcasing my PlayStation 2 video game collection. That's right. So, wow, I have 60 plus games to cover. Shit. You think I will have more, right? You probably think maybe... I mean, Erick's such a PlayStation 2 big fan, so he probably has like, I don't know, 100 games or even more. No, I don't. There's only 60 plus. I used to have more, but you know, I had to sell a bunch of them before the trip to England. But that was like, man, I can't believe it's been 5 years since that. But anyway, PlayStation 2 collection, all of it, 60 plus games, and all of these are special editions. So welcome everybody, thanks for joining. This is live, but you can still watch this video later at any given time. And I'll just be going through all of these, some of them pretty quickly, so as to not make this video 1 hour longer or more. Anyway, so yeah, welcome. The PS2 is still my favorite console of all time. Do I have every single game that I want in my collection? No, I'm still missing a few. I'm still missing some games that I did used to own, like most of the Dot Hack games. Also the Artonelico games, Manakimia 2, Raido Kusunoha the first one. Yeah, I'm still missing some games that I really would like to have in my collection. However, you know, I'm pretty satisfied with what I have. You know, it's not the best, the most complete PS2 personal collection, but you know, it's something. So thanks for joining, guys. Hope the stream is running smoothly. If you get any buffering, let me know. Or if you get any buffering, just, you know, update. Refresh. Okay, let's begin, guys. Let's begin with Eternal... Well, this is Eternal Poison. The game is right here. This is just the art book. It was sold in this... It wasn't even inside a box, you know. I got this, the Eternal Poison game was, you know, attached to this plastic, and then I just bought it that way. So it is kind of like a special edition. Has the soundtrack, and this is the art book that I showcased. I showed in my, I don't know if you remember that from my main channel. The one that got into some obnoxious controversy. Another special edition that I showed over there is this one, Girl Lancer Heritage of War. Badass game, you know, this is one of my favorite PS2 games of all time. I think this is my second favorite game, second favorite RPG on the PlayStation 2. Love this game. Alright guys, can you please tell me if you guys are buffering or something? If everything is going smoothly with the stream, let me know. Digital Devil Saga. Digital Devil Saga, this is another special edition that I showed in my special editions on my main channel. It comes with this sleeve. It doesn't come with this, with the second game. You know, you need to buy the game separately. I don't know why they did this. You know, I don't know why Atlus of America packaged, you know, the release this way. It's just weird because, you know, they knew people could use this space to put Digital Devil Saga 2 in there. I don't know why. Maybe they in my opinion, they should have just waited and released the whole thing together. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. Buy this edition, buy the second game separately, and you can feed the game right in. That's it. You guys are still buffering? Not sure what's going on here. Probably the internet speed. We have some problems, don't we? That's a problem doing these videos live. Maybe next time I'll do I'll just premiere them, pre-record them and premiere them. If it continues, restart the stream. Magna Carta on the PlayStation 2 is another special edition. This is a Korean RPG. Most people mistake this game for a Japanese RPG. It is not. It's from Korea. And this is a great game published by Atlus America. And It's a great game. It's kind of hard to get into, but it took me a while to get into this game when I first played it a long time ago, but it's great. You know, it's an 8-year RPG. It's excellent. And it's kind of long, you know. I think I did like 50 hours, probably a little bit less, 40-something hours on my first playthrough, and I skipped a lot of side quests, so imagine this is a huge game. Anyway, Magna Carta, strongly recommended. Unfortunately, most of these games go for quite a price nowadays. Yeah. The time to collect for the PS2, it's kind of over, unfortunately. If you watched my video yesterday, my advice on JRPG collecting, it's the truth. I mean, 2 years ago you were still fine. You can still find a lot of these games for a decent price, most of them for cheap. Nowadays, it's a completely different story. And there's still a bunch of PS2 games that are cheap. We'll get to some of these later. Most of the ones that I've shown so far are not cheap. They aren't overly expensive. I don't think none of these games, Grow Lancer, Heritage of War, Digital Devil Saga, Magna Carta, they're still on the $30 to $40 range, maybe $50 range. Probably the special editions are obviously more expensive. But I think if you buy Digital Devil Saga 1 and 2 separately, not this big box special edition, you can find them even sealed for like $20, $30 maybe. So some of these are still cheap, relatively cheap. Not Wild Arms 5. This game was never released separately. This is a special edition and that's about it. Some people took out the game and sold it separately, but it's still part of this special edition. It's 10th anniversary edition. It comes with an art book. This is very expensive, very expensive. Even just the game without the box, the cardboard box and the manual. Nope, still an expensive game, and this is one of those games that's been expensive for a long time, for as long as I can remember. I started collecting like, 12 years ago probably? This game was already expensive back then. So yeah, not this. Odin Sphere, this is a cheap game because it was remastered. It was remade/remastered on PS4, PS Vita, that version, the Leaf Proceeded version. So obviously this original PS2 version went down in price a lot. I'm not sure how much it goes for nowadays, but back, I don't know, probably about a year ago I looked it up and it was like $15, maybe $10 if you're lucky. But it's a PS2 game. We're still in the middle of a pandemic, COVID changed everything. So what does that mean? That this game might be a little bit more expensive than before, but it's probably no more than $20 nowadays. Great game, obviously. Leaf Proceeded, the remake/remaster is much better, but you can't go wrong with that version. It's brutally hard, even on easy, but yeah. Alright, my favorite PS2 RPG of all time, Valkyrie Profile 2, one of the very first RPGs on the PS2 that I ever collected. Some of these games are still in like these plastic, bags. They aren't sealed. I only have like a couple of games that are sealed. Not this one. It looks sealed, but it isn't. It's open. It's just a protective bag. Masterpiece, obviously. And I'm not sure how much it goes for nowadays. It's probably not expensive. I don't think it's more expensive than, I don't know, $50, and that's stretching it. Oh, okay, well, speaking about expensive and rare games on the PS2. Yeah, Shadow Hearts 1 and 2. Yes, they are expensive. And they've been expensive for a while. This one used to be cheaper before pandemic. Before COVID, this was like $30 to $40. After that, it's over $100. This is over $100. Yep. I used to own the third game. There's 3 games on the PS2. There's Shadow Hearts Covenant, and Shadow Hearts from the New World. Shadow Hearts from the New World, that's one of the games that I sold before going to England. That was 5 years ago. I regret it because it went up in price, and back then I had the game. I think I remember having paid, like $10 for it, mint condition, and now it's gone. And now it's like $80 game, probably. Eternal Poison this game has been expensive for a while. I showed the art book. Just let me show them together just for fun. With the art book, and inside is the soundtrack. Yeah, it's been expensive for quite some time. I remember paying probably $15 for this game with the art book, but that was that was a long time ago. This was one of the very first RPGs on the PS2 that I ever collected. So this is not a game you're gonna find for cheap nowadays, unfortunately. Some people even say that I I'm the one responsible for making that game rare and expensive. It's partially truth, because, you know, who else recommends this game on the internet as much as I do? But the truth is, it's an Atlus game. It was bound to get rare and expensive sooner or later, so nowadays, no, I don't take the blame, it's not my fault. Blame somebody else. Blame COVID. We all love to blame COVID, because it's true. Wild Arms 3 is one of the very... Well, I'm not sure how much it goes for nowadays. It's just because I stopped paying attention to some PS2 RPGs because I already have them, right? So if you go to price charting right now, I'm not sure how much is this game, especially because it was remastered. Well, not remastered, it just looks better. It was upscaled to HD graphics on the PS4 digitally. So this original version, physical version, went down in price a lot. I'm not sure, guys, if you know this on the chat. Let us know, but this is probably a $10 to $20 game max. Yeah, Wild Arms 3. Alright, let's continue. Manakimia, I used to own the special edition with the art book and the soundtrack, and I sold it like an idiot. Yeah, all because of England. Yeah, that was... Yeah. My collector life should be... You know... To me, England was a before and an after. You know... Let's leave it at that, my collecting life. Before England, after England. I only lived in England for 5 months, in case you're curious. Yeah, Manakini, I'm not sure how much it goes for nowadays. I don't think it's expensive. It's also on the PSP, this regular version. Yeah, great game. I don't have the second one. The second one has been expensive for as long as I can remember. And I used to own the special edition, and I sold it, and that's my biggest regret so far when it comes to PS2 games. That's the one that I regret selling the most. Damn it. Because if the original loose game, you know, it's expensive. Imagine the special edition, it's probably $300 nowadays. Who knows? Alright, let's start with the Atelier series. The trilogy, I have it all. I have them all on the PlayStation 2. The first one. The second one, not sealed, it's just in a plastic bag. This is also one of the very first RPGs on the PS2 that I collected. And this is one that I got in Canada. Well, I also got the first one in Canada, but long story. I used to have it before, sold it before England, and then got it back in Canada. And then for the first time, I got this one too. This is the one that is the rarest out of the three, and it's the worst out of the three, ironically. Don't you find that ironic? Don't you find that ironic that sometimes games seem to be very expensive and they are worse than others that are cheaper? Well, anyway, it's still a good game, don't take me wrong, but it's... just pales in comparison with the other two games. The second one is the best in my opinion. So this is probably the holy grail out of the three, right? This is probably a $100 game or more nowadays. Okay, these are the controversial ones because they're still kind of cheap here in North America, but I know for a fact in Europe these go for crazy prices, like over 100 euros or pounds or something. I don't know, but here in North America they're still kind of cheap. You can still find them for like $20 or $30, even sealed. The original Persona 3 is more expensive, ironically, but why would you want that version? This is the best version to own of it. Anyway, Persona 3 and 4, yeah. Alright guys, let's continue with the Tales games. There's 3 Tales games on the PS2. Symphonia is on the PS2, but only in Japan. That's right, we got the GameCube version and later the PS3 version. So the other 2 that we did get on the PS2 are Legendia and Abyss. Yeah, great games, not sealed, just protected. You know, this is one of my favorite Tales of all time and one of my favorite games on the PS2. Tales of Abyss is an excellent game as well, extremely recommended. I do get a lot of questions about which Tales should you guys start with. Legendia, that's the one I started with, but it's very different. But I strongly suggest you start with Legendia, that way you'll play the game without being biased, without any experience in the Tales of whatsoever, and you'll probably enjoy the game, and then you'll go play the rest of the series with an open mind. And that's what happened to me. Now the Grandia games, there's 3 games on the PS2. I only have Grandia 2 and Grandia 3. Grandia 3 is such an underappreciated game, it doesn't deserve the hate that it gets. This is one of those games that when I bought it, when I played it and I loved it, nobody was hating the game. That just came afterwards. Maybe I should do a video about that. On how just the reputation of some games suddenly changed out of nowhere for no reason. Maybe because a lot of influencers started complaining about them. I don't know. Maybe Time and Eternity used to be a good game until I came on the internet and trashed it. Anyway, yeah, these are not expensive. The Tales games are also cheap. I think you can still find them for $50 or less. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments or in the chat right now. But these are not expensive. This used to be for a long time a $10 game. Not sure how much it goes for nowadays. Anyway, I think the most expensive out of the 4 games, the 2 Grandia games and the 2 Tales games, is Grandia 3. And I used to have Extreme 2, Grandia Extreme on the PS2. England. Let's leave it at that. I'll just say that from now on, England, and you'll get it. The Xenosaga Trilogy, one of my most treasured treasures on the PS2, especially because, well, this Holy Grail, man, yeah, this is the Holy Grail, one of the rarest JRPGs on the PS2. Top 5 rarest PS2 JRPGs. That's right, Xenosaga 3. Barely any copies printed. It didn't sell well, but it's a masterpiece, the best out of the 3. This is still kind of cheap. I think you can still find this game for like $20, probably less. These went up in price. It used to be $30. I'm not sure how much it goes for nowadays, but it's getting there. $60 maybe. No reason to. I don't know the price of Xenosaga 3. It's probably $300 nowadays. And speaking about that, yeah. This is one of the rarest games in my collection, Hunting Ground, and I told the story so many times, right? You guys probably know the story already, how I found this mint condition copy in Blockbuster. Remember when Blockbuster existed? It wasn't that long ago. But yeah, I found it was 129 Mexican pesos. That's the equivalent of $6? Yeah, I paid $6 for this game. That was a long time ago. That was like probably 7 years ago. Yeah, 7-8 years ago. Yeah, and now how much is this game? $6 60 plus 00 600. Masterpiece. Hunting Ground. It's criminally underrated. It's like an excellent survival horror game. My favorite survival horror game. Blah, 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 blah. Alright, the Suikoden games. I have them all on the PS2. Suikoden Tactics 3, 4, and 5, which is the expensive one, the one that is still exclusive on the PS2. You can't play this game anywhere. I'm not sure if this is on the PlayStation Network, PS3. I'm not sure. These two are for a fact. These are still great games. People bitched about Suikoden 4 a lot. I bitched about this game too, but it's still great. So anyway, how much do they go for? Probably $40 each, maybe 40, 50, maybe these two. Tactics should be cheaper. Suikoden 5, forget it. Just forget it, man. It's like $200 nowadays. Oh, Shining Tears, one of the games that I got in Canada. I had been looking for this game forever. When I first started collecting JRPGs, this was one of my most sought after games back then. Eventually I forgot about it, and when I saw it in Canada, I was like, oh, I need to get it. I paid 30 Canadian dollars for it, like 25 US dollars. It's a great game. It does have some problems. No masterpiece. Not an excellent game, but it's still a hidden gem. I like it a lot. I love the art. In the Q&A that I did a few days ago on my channel, somebody was asking about my different art styles, my different artists. Tony Taka is the artist of this game, and he is one of my favorite artists in video games. And the work he has done for the Shining series is one of my favorites. Great game, great action RPG. This also has a 2-player mode. So, in its best played by 2 players. You play this by yourself and it's not that great, but with somebody else it might be better. Lapisel Tactics, another hidden gem strategy RPG made by this Gaia team. It's great, it takes a while to get used to it because the combat it's kind of different. Sure, it's played on grids and you move forward with your characters and all that jazz, but plays a lot with the elements and the panels that you have to change for the. It's just very weird and convoluted. It took me a long time to get used to this game, but it's totally worth it. And Shining Tears, I'm not sure. It's probably a $50 game. This is cheaper. It should be cheaper, but I'm not sure. Crimson Tears is one of those games. It's by Capcom, but it's one of those games that a lot of people say it's not an RPG because it's very repetitive. It's more of a roguelike game. You know, you go into randomly generated dungeons, and it's an action RPG. You can play. You can choose between these 3 characters, 2 sexy androids, and the guy. Well, I guess the guy is sexy too, I don't know. But anyway, Crimson Tears, great game, hidden gem, and shouldn't be more than $30, $40 nowadays. Yeah, I don't think it's expensive yet. Kingdom Hearts 2, the only Kingdom Hearts game I own in the series. Not a fan of the series at all, except this game. I'm a fan of this game. I beat it, loved it. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2, nothing special. Alright, we got one more mountain to go through. One more pillar of games. Star Ocean Till the End of Time. This is the one most people have with the cardboard box. It's not a special edition. It has nothing but the game inside of it, and that's it. That's pretty much it. Thank you, Yak Diesel. He's asking, have you given any thought to top 10 best and worst JRPG covers? It's a good idea, you know. I did one for the worst names, but it was just me being sarcastic. You know, for the worst covers, that's a great idea. Lots of PS1 and Super Nintendo games are gonna be there. You know those Breath of Fire covers? Jesus. This is cheap. This is still cheap, even with the cardboard box. I'm not sure how cheap, but cheap. This is also kind of cheap. You know, my box is pretty beat up. Not a special edition. It just has the playable demo of Final Fantasy 12 inside, including a manual for the demo, which I thought was pretty interesting. But anyway, massive game, one of the longest RPGs I ever played, but because of all the freaking grinding. I was just checking my memory cards, you know, a few days ago, and my file says that I did 53 hours. And I was like, wow, you know, all of that, you know, and pretty sure half of that is because of the grinding. So this is the King of Fighters, the one that has 2001 and 2? Yeah, 2000 and 2001. It also has a North American release, but I have the PAL version because I paid £2 for it when I was in England, £1 for it, and I was like, yeah, I have a modified, a hacked PS2. Well, it kind of doesn't work nowadays, but back in the day it used to work, so yeah. I don't really collect PAL games, and I wanted to get into that when I was in England, but I couldn't because I was focusing on other consoles. And yeah, big mistake. I should have bought a bunch of PAL games when I was there, because PAL games have also gone up in price. I mean, they're still cheaper. PAL PS2 games are still cheaper, I think, most of them, not all of them, but than the North American versions. But, you know, anyway, I live in North America, so I'd rather collect the North American release. And speaking about that, I have the other one, the North American release, 2002 and 2003. So, in North America, they released them separately, right? This has 2 discs, and this only has 1. But I'm missing the one for 2002, I think. Yeah, I only have the one for 2003. I don't have the one for 2002. And when I was in Canada, I looked it up, looked for it, never found it. I mean, resellers had the complete version, but they just didn't want to sell me just the disc. I mean, makes sense. Why would they want to leave the game incomplete? Nobody will buy it. But anyway, I think I remember paying for like $5 for this. And those 2, even the North American version, I think they're kind of cheap, you know. I think they go for like $30 nowadays, maybe 40 max. I'm not sure. Another fighting game, my favorite Guilty Gear of all time. So, of course, I had to own it. Well, okay, this is Guilty Gear XX Accent Core. There's another one, an updated version called Accent Core Plus. That's usually more expensive. It's the rare one, it's the pricey one. This is dirt cheap. I paid $10 for this, but I'm fine. You know, if I had to own a version for a decent price, just had to be this one, right? Yeah, the best Guilty Gear in my opinion. I didn't really like the newest game, Guilty Gear Strive. Great game for sure, but it just feels more like a Street Fighter game to me. Just the characters are fat and bulky and very muscular, and it's more technical now, and it's, I don't know, that's not real Guilty Gear for me. Sorry, Guilty Gear fans, don't unsubscribe. I still love Guilty Gear. So Chaos Legion, I talked about this game in my re-upload of 10 great games with RPG elements. Chaos Legion was there, it's a hack and slash by Capcom. They wanted to do a Devil May Cry game. I mean, Devil May Cry is also by them. But I guess they wanted to do something slightly different. And with RPG elements, you know, you get these monsters, these creatures, these legions, and then you train them and they level up and gain experience. And yeah, so the RPG elements are there. It's a hack and slash, but it's more technical. It's not that mindless as Devil May Cry. This is strongly recommended, dirt cheap, and it's also on PC, I think. Alright, so remember when I mentioned England? Yeah, I used to have every single... No, wait a minute. This was way before that. This was... Because in 2014, I had the entire collection, all 4 games, even the Holy Grail Quarantine. And I sold them all. Back then, Quarantine was like a $40 game, if you can believe that. It used to be a $40 game. Now it's like $300, I know. So I sold them all 4 games, for like, you're gonna kill me. You're gonna kill me for this. I think I remember selling the entire collection for like precisely 40. No, it was like $40 to a reseller because I was desperate, you know. But I regret that. I strongly regret that, and I've only managed to get the first one back so far, which is the cheapest of them all. I guess I'm okay, you know. To be honest, I'm not the biggest Dot Hack fan. I'm a huge Dot Hack GU fan, but the original 4 games are not that great in my opinion. Maybe they could be remade with better combat, you know, because the combat in those games is kind of like meh. So speaking about my die-hard love for the GU Saga, here are all 3 of them. This one, the second one, is sealed. It's one of the very few sealed games that I own. I bought it on the PlayStation Store here in Mexico. It's in a mall. It's still there. And I think I remember paying $10 for it. And they had a lot of copies, so I bought a bunch of them and resold them all and kept this one. But anyway, yeah, the Dot Hack GU Trilogy. This went down in price because of the remaster. You know, that remaster on the PS4, which is also going to be released this year on the Switch, by the way. And it's strongly recommended. This is a masterpiece. It's 3 games cut into 3 parts. They aren't like, you know, the sequel and whatever. No, it's the same game. It's one game. It's just cut into 3 parts. Because it's huge. Anyway, so yeah, masterpiece. They shouldn't be expensive. Maybe the third one is the rarest out of the 3, but they shouldn't be that expensive. Okay, my next sealed game is Phantasy Star Ambition of the Illuminus, the sequel to this game. This is dirt cheap. It's still dirt cheap. I'm pretty sure you can get this game for like $5. 10 max. It's great. It's also on the 360. Both versions are great. This is the sequel. It's also on the 360, but this one got only a physical release on the PS2. The 360 version is digital only. And this is sealed, and I got this for $1 at a retail store that was aeons ago. One of the very first PS2 games that I collected. The sequel is better than the original. That's just my opinion, though. Still recommended these games. Great action RPGs. And a lot of people think these games are online only. No, they're not. In fact, they're not even online anymore because the servers were shut down a long time ago. So you're stuck with the offline story mode. So they're regular RPGs. They just happen to have an online mode. That's it. Okay, this is my extra copy of Growlancer Heritage of War. You know, I showed the special edition at the beginning. The one in the special edition is sealed. And this is the one that's opened. This is one that I collected way before that one. And yeah, anyway, masterpiece, strongly recommended. And you're probably wondering, so is this version cheaper than the other one? Well, it just so happens that this is the version that comes inside the special edition. This didn't get a standard physical release in North America by Atlus. So yeah, I think if you want to buy this version, there's a lot of people selling it on eBay maybe. You're gonna find loose copies of this like this one. But not sure how much it is nowadays, probably on the $50 mark, maybe, just maybe. Moving on to the other Growlancer game, the Growlancer Generations. This is probably more expensive because it has 2 games, and because Yeah! Yeah, let me move the camera a bit. Right? You can see it, right? Alright. Sorry about that. Yeah, this is working designs. That means the game is crazy expensive. Yeah, Grow Lancer is going for... Holy crap. 80 to 120. And how much is this one? Jesus. And this is, well, I got a story for this one. You know how in the previous video I told stories for most of the games? There isn't a lot of storytelling in this case. You know, in my PS2 collection, most of these games I just bought them from stores, from resellers. That's about it. Most games don't really have a story, to be honest. Sorry if that's boring. But the story about this game is that I met up with the reseller. He wasn't a reseller, he was just a guy who posted the game online on the marketplace. That was a long time ago. So we agreed to meet up in the mall, in a far away place, you know, because he lived in the, you know, the opposite polar, in the North Pole, and I was living in the South Pole. Let's leave it at that. So we were far away, so we agreed to meet in this far away mall, and I went there, and well, the guy did show up, but I didn't recognize him because we didn't know how each other looked like. And you know, he never called me. I gave him my number. He never called me, and I didn't have any credit. So I was like, man. So I was just there, waiting there. He never approached me. So I was like, so he didn't show up. It's probably not that guy who's over there. You know, no, it can't be that guy. So I left. I was pissed off, and I reached out to him when I came home, and I was like, man, what the fuck, man? You didn't show up. You stood me up. No, you stood me up. I was there. And I was like, no, don't tell me you were that guy. Yes, I was that guy. Were you that guy? Yes. Holy shit. And the next day we met and we laughed about it. That's the story. I remember I paid like $15 for that version, this game. Probably way more than what it goes for nowadays. Alright, this is one of the games that I got in Canada. This is the second game, Raido Kusunoha versus King Abaddon. The second game, the first one is also crazy expensive. This one is kind of cheaper, and but they're both, you know, crazy expensive. And I remember I got this in Canada I paid 40 Canadian dollars. That's what, 30 US dollars? Yeah, it was just sitting there on a video game store, on a retro store. It was just there, and I was like, 30 for this complete in box, mint condition? Shut up and take my money, man. Do you have the first one? No. Yeah. Anyway, that's the story. Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, another game that I actually bought this sealed along with Persona 4 in Canada. I used to own them before, but England. Yeah. Anyway, Nocturne. I still don't have the remaster. I'm stuck with the original version in super ultra hard mode for idiots like me who suck at these games. Narnia. Let me take it. Hey, wait a minute. Before you start laughing, before you start saying, why do you own that game? This is a great game. I don't care about the movies. I don't care about the books. I watched the first movie. It was alright. But this game, this is a great game. It's not no masterpiece, but it's great. Because in every single mission of this game, it's an adventure game. And you need to do something different. It has some stealth missions where you gotta play a la Metal Gear and hide, you know, and go carefully, and then some massive Musou missions, hack and slash, where you gotta beat the crap out of hordes of enemies, and then where you gotta just beat a specific boss. There's a lot of puzzles here. It has a lot of variety. It's also on GameCube, Xbox. I think it's on PC. I think it's on the Game Boy Advance even. But anyway, don't underestimate this game. Forget about the fact that it's a Disney game. This is great. I do recommend this game, and it's dirt cheap. It's probably $2, maybe $5. Don't pay more than $5. What happened in England? Oh, okay, so in 2017, I moved to England for 5 months. I wanted to go and live there for a while, and I had to sell a big part of my collection to afford the trip. That's what happened. So some of these games I used to own them back then, and I sold them, and others I never got them back. That's what happened in England. So yeah, I recommend Narnia, and it's a multiplayer game. You know, you can play this with somebody else, and it's more fun because you control all the kids. You know, the 4 kids. Yeah, come on, guys. It's my guilty pleasure. I don't care. Radiator Stories. Like I said, most of these games I don't have a story for them. You know, I just bought this game. I don't even remember where I got this. Anyway, Radiator Stories, amazing game. One of my favorite on the PS2. This is my third and final sealed game on the PS2, and I bought this recently. Again, this is one of those games that I used to own before England opened, used. So I sold it, blah, blah, blah. And then I never got it back. Even when I was in Canada, no one had it. And I could only buy it online from eBay or Amazon or whatever, and it was always like $50, whatever, right? So I came back to Mexico, and last year I was just searching through Amazon Mexico, and they were selling sealed copies of this game in Amazon Mexico. I'm not sure if this is the same case in other countries, but they were selling this game for like sealed like this. I think I paid $30, probably 20 something dollars. It was a no-brainer. I bought it. This is a crossover strategy RPG crossover from a lot of Idea Factory games from the past, not the ones that are extremely weebo and fan servicey. And it has characters from Shadow Hearts. Shadow Hearts is not from Idea Factory, but has characters from other franchises, from other developers. It also has characters from Grow Lancer 5, Heritage of War, that I just showed 5 minutes ago. And the guy from Gongrave. Do you guys know that game, Gongrave? It's a third-person shooter. And yeah, amazing game. Check it out. Okami. It's just Okami, on the PS2. Yeah, Okami. Let's move on. Green Grimoire, oof, one of my favorite non-RPG games. It has RPG elements. It's on my Hidden Gems with RPG Elements video on my main channel. Love this game by Vanillaware, developed by Vanillaware. This is the second game they developed, but the first game they published and it was published by NIS America, not by Atlus, which was a surprise back then. People were confused. We're like, what happened there? What's going on in there? But anyway, because after this game, Odin Sphere came out on the PS2 and was published by Atlus. I don't even remember how I got this game. I probably just bought it from a guy or somebody because it's in great condition. It's impeccable condition, like most of my PS2 games. That's how much I care for PS2. Most of my games are in mint condition because I wanted them that way. Anyway, Green Grimoire, tower defense, real-time strategy game. You control hordes of different species and characters and monsters, defending your base and, fighting off the invaders, the enemies. Your goal sometimes is to reach the enemy runes and kill them, destroy them, etc. This is a very addictive game. How much is it nowadays? I think it's probably in the $40 to $50 range, but I'm pretty sure you can find it cheaper than that. So like I said, guys, a lot of games on the PS2 are not that expensive yet. Sure, they're all in the $50 range, maybe $60, and that's kind of pricey for a retro game. But at the same time, not really, because you know how prices are nowadays, right? Crazy expensive. Everything's crazy expensive. So finding games, retro games for like $50 or $60, is that a blessing in disguise? I don't know. Rogue Galaxy, I merely bought it from, I do have a story for this. Well, I think this is one of the games that I also bought, not this copy. I bought it from Blockbuster. That was aeons ago when I first moved out of my parents' house, precisely 10 years ago. That was in 2010. 12 years ago, I got the original version from Blockbuster and I paid $5 for it. It was $5. I sold that version. I think I sold that version to my friend Oscar before England, and then I just got it back. That's it. Rogue Galaxy. I think it's still cheap. It shouldn't be more than 30. Maybe. Romancing Saga is a game that I also used to own before England, sold it, and got it back in Canada. This is a remake of the original Romancing Saga we never got. When Romancing Saga 2 and 3 were remastered, a lot of people were wondering what happened to the first one. Why not remaster the first one as well? This is the reason why, because it already exists in this remake on the PlayStation 2. But, you know, it's been a while since this game was released, so they probably should re-release this game, at least on the PS4, digitally, maybe. Best romancing Saga game, in my opinion. And the only one that I've ever finished. Not really a Saga fan here, but this one I really enjoyed. You gotta play this game with a walkthrough, alright? Without a walkthrough, you get lost and will never know what to do or where to go. Almost a guarantee. Stella Deus, it isn't sealed. It's just open, just protected plastic. Stella Deus, well, some of these games, including my Wild Arms Special Edition, my Wild Arms 5 Special Edition, I remember I bought them off from a guy who posted his entire PS2 RPG collection, and he had like 40 games. Some of those games I already had them, some of those games I was missing, like this one. And he didn't want that much back then, and everybody was asking in the comments, like, hey, oh, where do we meet? You know, I'll buy them off from you. Where do we meet? Where are you right now? I'll go to your freaking house. And for some reason, I just reached out like anybody else. There was like 20 comments already in like 5 seconds. And I asked the guy, so, okay, can we meet in this mall, you know, in a couple of hours? And I don't know why he said sure to me. Just to me. He ignored everybody else. And I was like, yeah. Probably because some of the people were trying to talk him down. You know, they were offering a little bit less than what he was asking. And what the price he was asking for was already cheap, considering all the games that were there. I think he wanted like $200. Yeah, no, probably less. I think it was like $150 for all of them. And they were like 40 games, man. Jesus. So, and this was a long time ago. This was like probably eight years ago or so. And when back then, when most of these games were precisely $20 each, maybe 30. So yeah, that's the story. I got this game alongside others. This is a grid-based strategy RPG, published and developed by Atlus. Cel-shaded graphics, brutally hard, massive grindfest, and it's a hidden gem. This is a great game. Art of the Left, you know, this is the 3rd copy that I've ever owned of this game. Probably no, the 4th one. All the previous copies, I had them, collected them for a while, and I sold them all. It's still dirt cheap. I think this is one of those games that are still $10, probably less. It's also remastered. Well, no, not remastered. Upscaled to HD graphics. HD upscaled on the PS4 digitally. There. Anyway, PS2 version is outdated and it's dirt cheap, but I still love it. Kage Shadow King, this is a game that I have been looking for a long time. It's a turn-based RPG, kind of wacky, kind of Halloween-esque. It's pretty fun, it's pretty good. No masterpiece, but it's great. I remember Alpha Omega Sin is a huge fan of this game. And when I streamed this game, he showed up and I was like, oh, Alpha Omega Sin in my stream. The guy is gone from YouTube. He's been gone for like 2 years. Doesn't make any content anymore. Have been looking for this game. It's also on the PS4, you know, digitally, like Arc the Lab and Wild Arms 3 and Rogue Galaxy. So it should be dirt cheap too. And for the longest time I looked for this game everywhere, and every time I found it, it was without the manual, scratched, poor condition, or just very expensive. So eventually in Canada I found it for like $5, and yeah, it's here. For forever, probably. The 2D Gaia games on the PS2, these Gaia 1 and 2, these are dirt cheap as well, because especially this one, as you know, this is everywhere. It's on the Nintendo DS, it's on the PSP, it's on the PS4, it's on the Switch, it's on PC, it's freaking everywhere, man. So this version is really cheap. So since this is the only version that I have ever played of the game, no, actually I played the PSP and the Nintendo DS versions as well, but I only played them for like an hour. They're good versions. I think the PSP version is the best one out of them all. Though a lot of people are gonna say that the Switch/PS4 remaster is the best one. They're probably right, but I haven't played it. And this Gaia 2 is also on the PSP. The PSP version is the best one to go to. But I'm not sure how much that version goes for nowadays. It's probably a little bit pricey, maybe 50. But this is their cheap, the original version, and this is the version that I finished. The only this Gaia game I've ever finished in my life. I made it all the way to the final boss in this Gaia 4, beat the crap out of me, never defeat the guy, gave up. But this is I'm proud of this game. You know, it's brutal grindfest, these games. So yeah, That's one of those games where I'm like, I beat at this guy a game. Alright, we're near the end, guys. Almost near the end. Orphan Sign of Sorcery. This copy is in terrible condition. I don't even know why I bought it. I think I paid $10 for this piece of shit, man. It's not a terrible game, but it's no. Forget about this game. It has some good ideas, but most of them poorly executed. It's a bad game. Trash. I only have it for the memes, to make fun of it. It's a meme. That's the only reason why I still have this fucking game. I hate it. Dirt cheap games. Orphan should be like $5, and Final Fantasy X-2 as well. I don't even know why I have a Naruto game. Naruto, whatever you want to pronounce it. I don't even know. I'm not a fan of this series at all. I don't hate it. I'm just indifferent, and I don't even know why I have this one. I have no idea why this game is here. Is it good? I don't think I ever played it. Damn. It's a fighting game, of course. The Bouncer is a Squaresoft before they merged with Square Enix. Some PS2 games were still published by Squaresoft. This is a beat 'em up with some small RPG elements. I'm pretty sure somebody must have asked, why didn't you include the Bouncer in my top 10 great games with RPG elements? So, because honestly, I didn't include that game there because it's not bad. It's just not that good. Controls are kind of all over the place. The camera is like meh. It's not a bad game, but it's an okay game. Do I recommend this because it's dirt cheap as well? If you find this game for $10 or less, sure, give it a go if you like 3D beat 'em ups, but don't expect too much out of it. It's okay. And my last game that I want to show is a game that I don't have the cover for it. I just have the manual and the disc. And just like with Narnia, you're gonna laugh at this game, but it's great. It's another beat 'em up, 3D beat 'em up, multiplayer, and it's amazing. It's also on the GameCube. The GameCube version goes for crazy prices, I think. This is Teen Titans. Yeah, I'm not kidding. This is a great game. It's not a masterpiece, but it's a great game. Very fun to play with somebody else. This is strongly recommended. I'm not kidding. And this PS2 version, I'm not sure how much it goes for nowadays. I got this game with a batch of games, and I think that's where Naruto came from. I just bought them so I could resell them. That was a long time ago when I was a reseller. These games never sold, so I kept them. I guess that's the reason why. Okay, and that's it for my PS2 collection, guys. So last thing I want to show real quick before the stream ends are these boxes that you've probably seen them before. Like, what are they? Like, are they some kind of special editions? No, they're just promotional boxes. A guy, my landlord in Canada, he's a reseller. He just gave them to me for free. He got a bunch of them, and do you want them? They're just promotional cases. That's it. These are cardboard boxes. That's it. No plastic, no game inside. That's it. Pretty cool, right? I mean, they were for free. This guy had 2 Atelier Iris 2 and Green Grimoire that I love. So yeah, they're just empty boxes. I'm not sure if you can find them online. I'm not sure where you can buy these cases, these boxes, but good luck. Maybe on eBay. I don't know. Promotional. They were just in stores, like this, in retro stores or in retail stores, just sitting there next to the game probably to advertise the game. This is just advertisement. So it's a pretty cool piece of memorabilia for the PlayStation 2. Alright guys, that's it. That was my entire PlayStation 2 collection. 60 plus games. I think I counted like 67 games. All of them. Jesus, that's a lot. And I still haven't given up on PS2. I gave up on PS1, just like many. If I still see a bunch of PS1 games one day for a decent price, I'll buy them. Something that I'm missing probably. But on PS2, I haven't given up. I still look for them online every now and then. And if I ever go to retro stores again, because they're far away from where I live, I'll probably keep looking for PS2 games. Don't give up. Don't give up. PS2 is not that expensive yet. Sure, half of the JRPG library is outrageously expensive nowadays, unfortunately, but the other half is still affordable. It's still $50, $60 or less. And you pay $80 or more for new games, for brand new releases, right? So why not pay $50 or $40? They're still affordable. So I recommend you guys, if you want to get into PS2 collecting, it's not the right time anymore, but you can still find some great games and some classics and some hidden gems for a reasonable price. That's all guys, thank you very much for watching, And subscribe if you haven't. Recommend this video to your friends. See you next time.